All right. Hello and welcome to the Thursday, April 1st, April Fool's edition of Ham Radio Q&A. I'm Michael, KB9VBR.
And I'm Joe, KD9CGX.
And glad you could join us today. It's beautiful, but a little bit chilly day here in northern Wisconsin. To kind of tell you what the weather is, I think the high today was about 39, but we're going to be touching 70 degrees by the weekend, so it should be a beautiful...
Hallelujah.
Beautiful Easter weekend.
Mm-hmm. We've had snow on Easter before, so don't jinx it.
But it should be a good. It should be a good. Yeah, Easter's really a crapshoot because you don't know if it's going to be. If it's early, then it's unbearably cold, and if it's late in April, then it's like it's
if it's late, so it's going to be unbearably cold.
So it's weather's April weather can be all over the place, just like March weather. So we got people starting to filter into the chat here. I see Todd, good evening. And of course, the old Leprechaun Interdiction Academy, Thursday night ham radio. So glad you could join us there. We got some people that are starting to ask questions. So if you got any questions you want to ask this evening, throw them in the chat. We'll try to filter through them and queue them up for about the next hour. We're going to be going live here. We got some fun stuff we're going to talk about too. So enjoy. Thanks for joining us. A couple more people here. Dave, good evening. Down in the south side of town there.
Hey, Dave.
Nick down in Stevens Point, glad you could join us. Yep. I know, Nick, weren't you? I think you were scouting out field day locations. Was that today or was that yesterday? And our good friend WZ90, thanks for the super sticker. Greatly appreciate it. So glad you could join us today. And April, happy April Fool's Day.
Oh, April Fool's Day.
And we got a couple
Newsline. It's like Pierre pulling my legs day.
And we got a couple of April Fools for you this evening. So.
Oh yeah, 1 and 2 right here. It's no joke. We're fools. So.
Exactly. So. Yep, Nick. They just finished up the site plan for field day. So good to hear it. Sounds like the group down there should have a lot of fun.
Hopefully everything calms down and we can have some in-person gatherings this summer. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Cautiously optimistic. Cautiously.
Aren't we all? Got a couple more people. We'll just kind of greet. Crittenden, you're welcome. And hello from Harlan, Iowa, and Ontario, California. And another April Fool's Day greetings. So they're really coming in.
Oh yes, Baofeng's new HF radio. That's for the 50th in a row now.
Yeah, the UV5HF or something. I guess it's going to be.
Yeah, transmits in all frequencies from 2200 to 10 gigahertz.
Big old spark.
It does CW, sideband, AM, FM, P25, D star, and spark gap.
It does it all.
The spark gap's a new feature, by the way, guys. It's great. You'll try it.
Yeah,
you smokers out there, you can light your cigarette with it, I guess. Oh, Brad, KD9SBP. My dad was from El Dorado. It's not El Dorado. You can tell a Wisconsinite if they pronounce it El Dorado. Anyone else pronounces it El Dorado. Honest to God. Ask my dad, where are you from? El Dorado. Where the heck is that? Oh, it's right next to Fond du Lac.
Fond du Lac, of course.
And then be able to pronounce Fond du Lac in Manitowoc, in Kenosha.
Or my favorite, Economawalk.
Or Antigo. Not Antigo.
Or a Muscadet.
Ooh, that's a toughie.
That is a toughie. So, what are you drinking there tonight, Joe?
Oh, classic Leinenkugels.
Oh, the summer shandy.
Summer shandy, yeah.
All right. I've got the juicy IPA, big time. I think I'm gonna have to make the screen bigger here to see it.
There you go.
Yeah, big time IPA. You can see it's a guy. This is classic Milwaukee. He's leaning on his Harley. He's got a mullet, and in the background, we got the Hone. That's not the Hone Bridge. It must be a different. Oh, it's at a different bridge in Milwaukee. So, or is that the Art Center? So, yeah, classic Milwaukee here, big time from the Good City Brewing Company.
Yeah, Michael, I'm going to leave for 1 second. My video is locked up here, so I'm just going to leave and come right back in. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, while Joe's doing his thing there, I'm just going to greet a few more people here. Bert, watch the video on the Halfway Vertical, RGH Coax Center Core 100 radios. So glad that's working out for you. And use Westside CW. Yeah, I'll wake up to too old. Yeah. Christian, my copper Jpole still going strong after 3 years. So, I've got one that's up along the side of the house there. It's 15 years old. So it's, they'll last you forever if you take care of them. Evening, fellows from Clintonville. All right. A lot of Wisconsin's representing tonight. And of course, Shawamagon is the real test. Thanks from the YL there. Can't go wrong with the beer choices. PBR. So PBR is a classic Wisconsin brew, although it's not quite so much Wisconsin anymore. And Joe, when you're ready, just kind of give me a wave. So, all right.
There we go. I've been waving for a minute. So I use my cell phone as my camera, and I have the laptop down below so I can see comments because I can't watch everything here. So, but just before we went live, the cell phone just locked up on one screen. Oh. And so I'm like looking down here, and I look up like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking down here all the time. I'm like, well, this ain't gonna work. I need to look up here a little bit more. So now I'm better. I feel much more prepared.
I got that same problem too because my computer is offside here, so I'm always have to glance to the side here to see what's going on. So, all right, and somebody's noticed your Oscilloscope there, Joe. So, what would you recommend for a first oscilloscope for a new ham?
Whatever you can get your hands on cheaply. I would stay away from the old tube-based tech models. They're a handful and, kind of a steep learning curve. The two brands that have a really good 100 megahertz, 2-channel or 4-channel, oscilloscope are either Siglent or Rigol, R-I-G-O-L.
Yeah.
Rigol 1054 back there, I think. And that's a really decent model. I think you can get it for under $400 street price.
Ooh.
100 megahertz, 4-channel, and really you don't need 4-channel.
No,
2-channel is probably more than enough for most things that we all do around here. So you always want to look at the sample rate, 1 gig or better sample rate, and at least 2 channels, and check your bandwidth. But Rigol and Siglent, I have a lot of experience with Siglent. Their customer service is real good. They're pretty responsive. Even during like the height of the pandemic last spring, it did take 2 months to get something fixed, but that's because they only had one person in the office. So at least they were responding to us. Yep, we're working on it. We're just, it's just me in the office right now. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know the Electro Boom guy. He's always pitching those Keysight scopes, and they look like an affordable. Brand
Keysight
is
not affordable.
Oh, is it?
If I had money, I'd have a Keysight. Keysight is actually the 3rd generation or 2nd generation after HP's spinoff. Okay. Or that I think Keysight is. Keithley is different. So it was Agilent, and then Agilent spun it off to Keysight. So those are high end, very high end. I would love to have one in the shack, but I don't. So, but realistically, for 95% of the stuff I do with radios, I don't really need a scope. It's not that you don't need it. It's nice to have, but it's not. If I were going to spend money on a first time or starting up, you would probably be better off, if you're going to do radio repair, find a test set or a service monitor. That would be like the first thing I would find after like a good meter and tools and stuff and a good decent soldering station. A service monitor is going to help you do a lot of repairs. And then after that, next thing you probably want is a spectrum analyzer. 1 gigahertz to 1.5 gig at least. Those you can find used for $500 on eBay.
Okay.
The new ones, even the new ones from like, the entry level companies like Rigel are $1,500 for an entry level. So now, not to say that I guess now the people that make the tiny DNA, they also now have a tiny spectrum analyzer. I haven't seen too much about it yet. Not to say that wouldn't work. And there's some other things out there too, but if you really want to do, say, like tuning cavities for a repeater, you need something with a lot of dynamic range of at least 100, 120 dB. And a good solid spectrum analyzer is the way to go. And even a cheap one that's 40 years old for $500 will get you what you need to do. So, but a scope is fun to have. I use a scope for some frequency measurements, checking waveforms, but in the long run, I don't use it that much. And I think a lot of other radio techs would probably tell you the same thing.
Yeah, you really got to be into service work to get a benefit out of a scope. So the old Diesel boat radio man says, old Sears scopes are fine. You just have to learn how to use them.
Hey, my first scope was an old tech. I want to say a 2214. It was solid state. It was like I want to say 30 megahertz. I learned a lot. But it just, there wasn't a lot of use and they're huge. They are ginormous. The old tube models. So a good example was Ham that Michael I know. He got a old one like from the 60s, tube state, and he left it on at night in his bedroom because he liked the warm glow. I kid you not. And then a month later, he got his first electric bill, and his wife made him put it in the basement and unplug it. It was pretty hot.
That's kept him warm at night too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure his cat liked the warm glow too, but that is a heavy cold anchor.
Oh yeah, you see those old ones at the Ham Fest. You buy them by the pound, and
and you throw them away by the pound too eventually.
But,
they are fun, and they're not that much harder. But if you're going to spend some money and you don't want to be frustrated, $400. You could probably get a used one on eBay for under $3 for the Rigel or a Siglet, and that'll get you going, and you'll learn a lot from it. And then if you want something bigger, you know what you want then.
Yep, exactly. So, okay, I see a question here. What would you recommend upgrading first, an antenna or coax? I have a 15-foot section of RG58 feed line and a homemade 2-meter ground wave. I always tell people is, if you're going to run coax, invest in quality coax, because it takes a lot of work. It takes effort to put in a decent coax run. And it's something you don't want to have to redo again in 5 years. So spend the money. You'll realize especially with VHF, UHF antennas, you're going to realize your greatest gains in putting in quality coax, low loss coax the first time, and then saving a little bit of money on an inexpensive antenna, more than you will spending a lot of money on a good, on an expensive VHF, UHF antenna and using cheap coax.
Right. You'll find, especially for HF frequencies, RG58 is fine. Your loss per 100 feet is minimal. As your frequency gets higher, 6 meters, 2 meters, 440, that RG58 becomes an attenuator, and you have some pretty significant losses per 100 foot. So if it's a short run, if you're just got a 10-foot piece of coax and you're outside and you just need to get something up in the air, that's fine. Start getting about 25, 50 feet, then you're going to definitely see a difference. So at least RG8, if not LMR 400 or better. I'm not telling you to go out and get Hardline or Heliax or anything, but RG8 or LMR 400 for 2 meter 440 stuff, and that should be fine. Make sure it's a good, solid connection. Don't get the Amazon cheap stuff. I'm going to say it. I use Amazon stuff for like my portable, but those connectors, as soon as you get a little water in there, that braid on the outside, the outer braid, is a wick. And it'll just suck water in, and then it's useless. You might as well just take the whole 25, 50 foot and just toss it, because it's not going to work anymore. So yeah, a 2 meter ground plane is really simple. I mean, Michael, you've built them with a 239 connector.
Oh yeah.
And they'll last. But if you have crappy coax going to them, then it's pointless. So,
and actually, if you're talking about 50, and I think the original question said 15 feet of coax, and Alan says here that the coax line is short enough, because really, for VHF under 25 feet, I'm comfortable with using RG8X. But
even 58, you could for a short one, but over 25, then you gotta up it a little bit.
And if you're gonna be stringing coax, if you're chasing it through walls in your house or something like that, and up to the roof, then if it's something you only want to do once, so spend the money.
No, you're gonna do it again at some point in time. Something's gonna have good coax eventually, but it'll be better in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see. Kevin asked, would it be better to replace my off-center fed dipole with a hex beam or buy an amplifier? I live in Pennsylvania and I have QSOs with Australia on the southern tip of Chile, Japan, Europe with my current dipole.
I don't know. It seems to be working for you, doesn't it? I get another one of those off-center fed dipoles.
Yeah, I don't know what are the power limit. I don't even know what the power limits are with the hex beam antenna. If
I think most of them will run at kW or more.
Okay.
I think you run full power with a hex beam, but man, you're doing pretty good with that.
Yeah.
I've always said antenna over amplifier any day of the week. A good working antenna doesn't need to have more oomph in it.
Exactly.
Right. That's my personal opinion. And some people will tell you life's too short for QRP.
And actually we're cycle 25 has started, so things are only going to get better, especially in the upper bands. Down in the basement of the sunspot cycle, if you really wanted to do anything on 40 and 80 meters, an amplifier, of course, is almost a necessity. But as it's going to heat up, and if 20 meter DX is your thing, I almost believe that you might get more enjoyment out of a hex beam than you will using, investing in an amplifier at this point in time, and then maybe save your pennies for when we start to get on the other side of that sunspot cycle and you really want something for the low band stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because when 20 is open, you don't need much. You really don't. Even running less than 100 watts is more than sufficient with 20. It's open. 15 gets open. And they're opening up now more and more every day. So, keep your fingers crossed. I'm you will always miss a contact if you don't get out there and call CQ. I'll say that.
Yep.
So even if you think the bands are junk, get out there and make a call. You don't know what you're going to find. A good example is a guy I know, 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, goes down to the basement, turns on the radio at 20 meters, 2 o'clock in the morning. And all he hears is CQ North America, CQ North America. Well, picks up the microphone, goes, "This is North America, go ahead." Just got to get on the air, even when the bands don't look like they're doing very good.
Yeah.
Definitely get out there anyways. But I am of the philosophy antennas are better than amplifiers. Other people are going to tell you different. There's no right or wrong answer on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you want. But antennas are cheaper.
They are. They are. Total cost of ownership. You're gonna better deal with a quality antenna than you will with amplifier, and then that energy bill again. So.
More smiles per mile.
There you go. All right. I got a couple here. I know Sarah here. She's working on her tech. So how do I make sure I stay consistent with my practice tech exams? And that's a difficult thing, because I think that if you're waiting for the testing date, it's you keep taking those exams, and I think you almost get kind of burned out at a certain point in time. So, I usually do recommend for people that if your studying thing is just consistency, dedicate a certain amount of time, maybe 20-30 minutes a night, and take 1 or 2 exams, but don't practice exams, but look at what you get right, look at what you get wrong, and then leave it at that, and then come back to it the next day, and then come back to it the next day, instead of trying to cram all that information into your head at once.
I know, like the apps that I used on the smartphone, way back in the day, 7 years ago when I got my first license, they keep track of the questions that you've mastered and the questions that you keep getting wrong. So they will purposely start throwing questions that you don't know, or questions that you haven't seen yet. So that is, if you're using one of those apps or online where you have an account and you kind of, it has a cookie there, it will throw those questions at you. And you'll get kind of frustrated because you'll be bouncing between 60 and 80% sometimes, because, sometimes you get more questions that and sometimes you don't. But the good thing is that it keeps purposely exposing you to those new questions. So you learn them or you memorize them one way or the other. And then you walk into the test session, you get like a 90.
Yeah.
So sometimes your test results may not necessarily reflect exactly what you know. You may actually know more.
It's absolutely. So.
And of course, always get a study buddy. Find someone else who's studying. And,
that helps a lot. Yeah,
that helps a lot too.
Mm-hmm. Then you can bounce questions, or if there's something that you really you're having trouble with. They can, maybe they can help, talk you through it and get you through that obstacle.
Oh, we got some DX down there.
Oh, yeah, DX on 20 with 100 watts and an R7 Cushcraft vertical from Two-Land. So it's
a little bit lower there.
So what? Amps make up for
Poland.
Where is it? Where do you see the post? There we go.
There you go.
Stanislaw. There we go. Greetings from Poland.
Hey, Stan. Thank you.
Hey.
I don't have my bottle of Polish blackberry brandy here tonight.
I think my head.
We didn't get to do that this year.
I got some blackberry brandy in the fridge. I'd have to.
Oh, I don't leave it there. Don't get it out. There's an unfortunate thing that happens at Winterfield Day. It's this concoction of peppermint schnapps and blackberry brandy called Snow John, and it is god awful. But for some reason, it shows up every Winterfield Day. And
That'll clean your clock.
Yeah, Definitely something.
Yeah, Brad says, I read Gordon's book several times. My wife, when she got her license, she read the Gordon West book, the he's got the ones that just have the questions and answers, and then a brief discussion on it, kind of like it's a ham radio catechism almost. But yeah, he
the Baltimore Ham Radio Catechism.
She aced the test with that little book. So.
Your wife's a lot smarter than you, though.
I got a guy here. I think he had some couple of questions about my railroad band Jpole antenna. Should the railroad no weather antenna be grounded, or can it be avoided? Wouldn't want to risk a hazardous lightning strike on the roof. The antenna is a half-wave antenna, so it doesn't have to be grounded for performance, but you can ground it for lightning protection. I usually tell people the best thing to do is to, instead of trying to run a ground wire all the way from the antenna to the base or to the ground, is to put a lightning arrestor on your coax where it enters the house, and then run the ground wire from that, because lightning is always going to follow that coax in, so the arrestor will help shunt that to ground. And I know Joe's he's gonna tell you a little bit more too. So
no, you got it right. No. So electrical code wise, yes, you have to ground the coax where it comes into the house. Now, something to consider: if you have a Jpole sitting on your roof peak, and lightning's coming down, and it's grounded, I'm going to tell you this: your roof's still going to take a hit. It's just the way it is. Lightning is a very fickle thing, and it's very powerful. So even if you run like a number 12, number 10, or number 8, wire down from the Jpole, what you can do, we've talked past, so you don't need to ground the Jpole, but it's still going to cause damage regardless. So for lightning protection, ground your coax where it comes in, and have a good insurance policy. Because if a Jpole gets hit and it's on your rooftop, you're going to have problems regardless. There's no way you can defend it.
Yep. And really, we really, a Jpole antenna is no more or less susceptible to lightning strikes than any other antenna on your roof. So don't think that it's, if I put this copper antenna on the roof, it's gonna be a lightning magnet. Well, if you put a TV antenna on the roof, it's gonna be a lightning magnet. If you put a fiberglass antenna up on the roof, it's gonna be a lightning magnet. All of them. It's
not gonna change the resistance between the cloud and the ground.
Yeah,
it's negligible at best. So the grounding it, I would still say grounded where it enters the house, and a good insurance policy.
There you go. And a follow-up, Joseph also says that it would be hurt to paint the antenna to prevent rusting from the rain. As the antenna ages, it'll develop a dark brown patina, and that's not going to affect performance, but you can paint it. And typically I tell people that, if you use like a non-metallic spray enamel is a good thing if you want to try to camouflage it, hide it from the neighbors or things like that.
Right.
Well, we're kind of now, we've got a caveat there, because for years and years I've told people not to use metallic paints because it may create a capacitance, between the paint and the antenna.
Right.
So last month we tried, Joe and I tried spray painting and one of these Jpoles with metallic gold paint, and
we painted another one with just plain old paint. And guess what? There's not much of a difference.
No, the testing is inconclusive. We're gonna try playing around with it a little bit more, see if we can do some range testing. But
by the way, I bought the best pink metallic paint I could find.
Oh.
Really, there's a pink Jpole sitting at Michael's house.
There is. It's beautiful.
I think there's a gold one too. I mean, it's just like pretty soon we're going to offer them custom colors.
Oh, WZ90. I hope Sarah does well as our tech. As an Elmer, I am teaching her well. As an announcement, I'll be in Denver operating in September and upstate New York in October for the New York QSO party. Well, awesome. So I love those. I love those QSO parties, and I'm glad to hear you're going to be doing some traveling. I know we're going to be doing some traveling here, and I'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But since we're at the bottom of the hour, I think now is a good time to kind of just let everybody know. Well, take the beer break, of course, but of course you can help support the channel by becoming a member over on Patreon. Patrons gain exclusive access to content. We also have put the videos out a day early, a day in advance, ad-free, so you can watch the video without any commercial interruption. And actually, for this past month, we have a lot of new members. So let's kind of take a moment to welcome our new patrons. At our top level, our associate producer level, WZ90, Paul Sweeney and Paul Westberg. Thanks for your continued support as producers for our program. And a friend level, Drake Habick, and our new supporters, Gil Madrill, Martin Mormon, and Kevin Duffy. So thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much. Someone's got to pay for all the multimeters we blow up.
That is right. That is right. So help support the mission to educate and inspire. That's over at patreon.com/KB9VBR antennas. So, all right. Now that we got that out of the way, and we were talking a little bit about traveling, maybe, Joe, maybe this is a good time to talk about some upcoming ham radio adventure we've got planned.
Oh, yeah. So the adventure. Okay. So, for backstory, before the days of COVID, a very good dear friend of ours, Brent Schaefer, K9MIX, he was a local ham here for seven decades. Licensed in 1958. I think he's had the same call signs as like 1960 since he went from novice to general.
Yeah, K9MIX or dog food is his assigned call sign.
That was his call sign, K9 Mix. Brett was an avid county hunter. For those of you who don't know what county hunting is, it's basically like grid squares, worked all states, only it's counties in the United States. And it's a smaller group, but they are pretty fanatical and, either working from all counties or working all counties. However many, 5,000, 4,000 counties, whatever there are now. And he was on the board for the mobile amateur radio county hunters. I might be getting that wrong. But so I want to say in 2019, I was just kind of talking to him about what is it about? And he was telling me about counties he hadn't had. And one of the counties was Baraga County in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is way up there on Superior. So myself and another local ham who was from Baraga County, we're talking about, well, let's go up there. We'll go up there, we'll set up, and we'll get a schedule, and so we can get the county. Well, last spring, you kind of know what happened. COVID hit, and that kind of put a damper on everything for the summer of 2020. And unfortunately, in this January, Brett passed away from COVID. Just, shocking. But, we figure, well, heck, that doesn't mean we still can't go up there and activate the county, because I know a lot of county hunters are looking for that. And, so honor Brent, April 30th through May 2nd, Michael, myself, and Amber, KD9, KKY, are going to be operating from way up in the UP, Baraga County. If you can zoom in there, keep zooming,
We're getting up there into the key one.
Work it. There you go.
There we go.
Way up in there. So we'll be at Baraga State Park in beautiful Upper Michigan. And we'll be working 20, 40, and 80 for what it looks like for 2 nights, 3 days. And if you are a county hunter or if you're parks on the air, come out and get us. We'll be pretty active that weekend. And yeah, I think we're even going to try to have a QSO card. Now, we will be activating as our club call, Whiskey 9 November Alpha, W9NA. So you won't be able to get a BBR. Well, maybe if Michael wants to send you one, he can send you one. But we will have a special club QSO card for that weekend. And if you're a county hunter, put it on your dates. I think the MARAC is going to put something out there. And we'll try to get a schedule for those who want to get us, because I know some of the guys have it, some don't. It's one of those tricky ones because it's real remote. It's way up, you know, I mean, we're right on Lake Superior.
It's way up there in the Keweenaw.
Right. So whatever you said. Get you groovy or something, I don't know. Yeah. But it's going to be a good time, and it's our first camping trip of the year. In fact, I really didn't get to camp at all last year. I'm just going to tent it. I'm hoping for the best. I want to be on the shore of Lake Superior in late April. It could be 70. It could be minus 20. I don't know. Hopefully it's somewhere in between there. But really, we're going to have a good time, and hope you guys can join us for that.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and I will get some more information as we kind of get the plans put together. But basically, yeah, it's April 30th, May 1st, and May 2nd. Probably the May 1st, Saturday, May 1st is where the bulk of the contacts are going to be made, and we'll try to get as many modes and bands up on the air as possible, so we can get as many people. We'll make it it'll be fun. It'll be a special event dish kind of thing, and we'll have customized QSO cards.
The county hunters want CW.
Yeah.
I've been told. So I've been working on it. It's probably going to be QRS, but if you are looking for Baraga on CW, we will do our best. I mean, it's going to be a simple exchange, guys. No rank in here. But I will do my best to work you guys on CW. And again, this is for a friend. And we'll have a good time. There's probably going to be a video on it.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a video. There'll be a video.
There'll be a video. There's always a video. You should see what we leave on the editing room floor.
Oh. I'll get
speaking about traveling and working on antennas, we had some questions about tuners from our last video.
We'll get this. Yeah, Baraga County, Michigan, W9NA, April 30th to May 2nd. So mark your. Yeah.
It's like you had that graphic all ready to go.
No, I didn't. I just had to type that in quick. It was terrible. I should have had that.
People who don't prepare, prepare to lose.
People with some tuner questions here. Because Brad says, why isn't the SWR meter in my brand new MFJ 941E working? Should I take it apart and have a look inside, which I'll be looking for?
Sure, why not? You can't make it any worse when it ain't working, right? Now, before you take it apart, are you transmitting in a mode that provides a carrier? CW, AM, or FM? If you're trying to do it on sideband, it ain't going to work.
Well, it'll work. You'll get the deflection as you speak.
Right.
You have to talk really loud in order to move the needle. So
we've all made that mistake, by the way. Right? You guys made that mistake.
Yeah.
So try that. Make sure your radio's working. And if it's not, and it's brand new, MFJ, even though we call it Mighty Fine Junk, they will replace it. No questions asked if it's not working.
It's if it's new, it's under warranty.
Yeah.
That would be the first thing, is to call their help desk to see what the problem is.
Right. Yeah, I would double check that.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're transmitting at a carrier mode and the radio's working, and it's brand new, I would say, just call me, get a new one. I would say if it's old and you want to take a crack at it, open it right up. because they're not that intricate.
No.
So there's
And
two tuning capacitors that are in series, and there's an inductor that's in parallel, and then there's a small circuits for your SWR reading for your meter, and then if you have multiple inputs or multiple antenna outputs, there's a couple knobs for that. They're really simple. So if it is broken and you're a novice at fixing things, this is a good one to get your feet wet in, because A, you're not going to wreck too much, and B, it's not that hard to fix it. So
no, it's not. Yeah.
Even still, if the SWR meter doesn't work, you can use an external SWR meter.
Yeah, but if it's a brand new meter, you should probably go the warranty route first.
Yep.
So.
Leprechaun interdiction can't make it any worse.
Can't make it any worse. Yeah, Nate says it's pronounced Baraga.
Baraga. I'm sure after a couple pasties, I will be pretty proud pronouncing it correctly. Really. Rutabaga and ketchup.
All right. So, how do we want to talk a little bit about tuners? Because we got a lot of. We did that. I did that video on manual tuners, and we got a lot of questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's the first one is. Let's see. Yeah, someone asked. Francis asked if you're running an amplifier, which side of should the antenna tuner be? So the proper chain would be transmitter, transmitter, amplifier, and then tuner, because the tuner always, is working with the antenna to provide that proper impedance match. And, if you've got an amplifier, the amplifier is going to want to see that 50 ohm match, just like the transceiver wants to see that 50 ohm match.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Yep. Put it between the amp and the antenna.
Yep. Correct. Tim asks, what will happen if you transmit while tuning?
So. Well, you will let the magic smoke out.
Yeah, you can swivel the capacitor dials all you want. That's not going to really affect anything while you transmit.
Unless you're overpowering it.
Yeah,
if you're high power, too much power into it, then you'll actually have arcing between the capacitor plates, and you can actually lock them up. Yeah, I've seen that happen. So now there's two types of inductors, and that's what we're talking about when we say don't transmit while tuning. You don't want to transmit when tuning a tapped inductor.
Correct.
So a tapped inductor is your coil, and then off like every rung of the coil is a soldered wire. And then there's like a multi-position knob that you turn, and it go click, 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 and it just changes that. Because what happens is if you got power going through that, when you're turning the selector knob, you'll arc in there, and that'll cause damage. Now, if your antenna tuner has a rolling inductor like this, get that up real close, and Michael, maybe you want to zoom in here.
Yeah, I'll give you full screen. Whoops, it's not me.
You full screen yourself there, buddy.
What the heck?
There we go.
So
this rolling inductor, this is what I got at a Hamfest a while ago. Yep. And right here is a roller that makes contact with the inductor there. Now, it always makes contact. It's never skipping. It's never jumping. There's never a gap in between there. So you could run some power through this while tuning it. Now, the problem, though, is that your SWR is going to spike up and down as you do that. So if you do that, make sure you're on low power.
Yeah.
But you could, in theory, do it that way. Now, as we said last time, you tune the inductor with your ear, and the noise level on your SW or on your S meter. And then once you get that as low or as loud as you can, then you tune your capacitors while transmitting.
Correct.
So
correct. So, and then Rick says, I may have missed one important thing, but to remember that is RF burns, depending on the design of the tuner. MFJ mentions it has hot shafts that the knobs are attached to. So what you say, how are the knobs fastened to the shaft? Well, metal set screws. So it's, if you've got big meaty fingers, you could.
MFJ tuner right here.
Yep.
And again, I'm going to try to get close.
We'll see if we can get you.
There's a set screw in there. Now, the set screw is recessed. You bring me back up there.
I don't know why it's not giving you. I don't know what's doing here.
You want me to come bring this over to your house there?
It always wants to blow me up, not blow you up. So,
well, anyways, follow with me for a second. There is a metal set screw in there, and it is a little recessed, so you may not make contact with it. You may. And you got to have a fair amount of reflected power, really to get it burnt. Now, I've been burnt. I've been burnt on a knob, actually on an old Kenwood TS520. It never had burnt me before, and I had it sitting on a shelf for a while, and someone went to buy it, and I brought it, put it back on the bench just to make sure it worked, and I tuned her that morning on a Sunday morning, and pow! Like, oh, that really hurts. So, if you're running power, there's with a tuner, regardless if it's a hot shaft or whatnot, there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
You could have RF on the chassis, on the box, anywhere. So it's always better to try to tune with low power. Again, so like if you have inductor, like the inductor, there won't be any arcing. The capacitors, there's no arcing. 5-10 watts is more than enough to tune. If you tune at a full 100 watts or more, there's that possibility.
Yeah, and especially if you're using balanced feed line, you're going to have you'll have issues too with RF in the shack.
Absolutely.
And that's and MFG explicitly says is that the back plane of the tuner could be hot with balanced feed line or a random wire. So be aware. Be aware of that, huh?
Don't stick your fingers back there.
No. Hey, we got some more DX. Germany is waving a hand and wishing everyone a happy Easter. So,
happy to you. Yes.
Yeah, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. And good evening from the left coast. In-N-Out Burgers. Love me an animal style. So.
Animal style. I've never been to In-N-Out Burger.
It's a rare treat, especially for us Midwesterners.
Yeah, well, we have Culver's, so.
There we go. All right, we're. Oh, Brad says, thanks for all the feedback, everyone. So, Brad, you're welcome, and thank you for the donation there. It's really appreciated. And one of the things we're going to do in anticipation for the Baraga trip.
Baraga?
Baraga?
I'm going to call Amber tonight, and we're going to get it straight.
From a native.
If I'm pronouncing it wrong, then I'm going to go up. I'm going to go north of the Mason-Dixon line, and I'm probably going to, it's not going to end well. They may find me floating out in Kitchigumi. You're going to be up there in the lake. So one of the things I'm doing is, I've got the little camping trailer, or as Joe affectionately calls it, the glamper, and you started that, not me.
I've always, for solar power, I've always used I'll pull up a picture here. A solar suitcase, a 100-watt suitcase that I use to charge the battery. But this year I want to add a permanent solar panel to the roof rack of the trailer. So I'll give you just another shot there. And that's kind of what we're looking at. You can kind of see the roof rack where the solar panel will be mounted. And thinking about around 150 watts or so. 150 watts, whatever I can find that fits that space nicely, and a charge controller, and battery, a 50 amp hour battery. So we'll be totally off grid all the time with the trailer, and that's the project I've got working. But if anybody's got any suggestions, I've been looking for charge controllers, and here's the deal. Because everybody says, oh, you got to have an MPPT charge controller. MPPT is what you want. You know, the PWM or pulse width modulation is, you know, they're junk. They don't you know, they're inefficient and whatnot. And I've always had good luck with pulse wave charge controllers because they don't create a lot of RF hash. But MPPT controllers do create RF hash, and some of them are worse than others. So if anybody's got a line on a good MPPT charge controller that does not create RFI or EMI, you know, I want it to be radio quiet because this is the reason why I want solar on the trailer. I want to, you know, I want to hear your suggestions. So.
Yep, and let us know because we're going to test it on the air. And if you're wrong, we're blaming it on you.
So if anybody else is running solar, you know, let me know what you're using for a charge controller, because we'll be there'll be a couple of videos on this, you know, on this project. I'll be getting the equipment together in the next 2 weeks, and then probably late April assembling everything so that it's ready to go on our trip the start of May. So.
Yep, you'll probably have to hire an electrician.
Well, I'm going to have to drill a hole into the trailer to get
then you need a plumber.
Yeah, plumber.
Good luck finding one of those.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. So we got another. There's a question. I know somebody dropped it at the beginning of the chat, and I just want to come back to here. And oh no, I think we lost it. It filtered off. Crud. But Bruce was asking. He was getting a lot of noise and wanted to know if we have used any of those noise reducers. I'll bring the share screen up again so I can kind of show you what he was talking about. It's the noise canceling signal enhancer, the MFJ 1025. And he was wondering if anybody had used one of these to reduce noise at their location. And I haven't used one personally, but I was just reading a little bit about it quick. And what it does is it takes two antennas, your primary antenna and then an auxiliary antenna, and you can adjust the phase and the amplitude between these two antennas in order to eliminate noise. So you're just you're creating, you've got an in-phase signal and an out-of-phase signal, and you can use, and as you move that phase in and out, you can eliminate some of that noise. And I guess it works, but yeah, I don't have any experience on it.
So. It's interesting, and you know, in theory it should work, but I have no hands-on experience with these at all. I'm lucky that I got a pretty low noise floor for being in town. So
yeah, I'm still battling the noise here. But now that it's warm, I gotta get out and see if I can find that power pole. That's
just gotta find out which neighbor's got a growing operation in the basement.
I think that's what that might be what the problem is. It's mostly during the day and not so much at night, which is really weird. But,
damn dirty hippies.
Oh, Leprechaun, the Bioenno charge controller. I
actually Bioenno's pretty good. I actually have a Renogy one, MPPT. So I think maybe we have to go test it. I haven't tested it out yet.
Yeah.
I didn't have solar panels last year, and I didn't get a chance to test it out. I built a small 15 amp hour Go kit power supply with a Bioenno 15 amp hour battery and a Renogy. I think it's a Voyager, but I haven't tested it out yet. So maybe, Michael, we need to get together this warm weekend and take a look at that.
Well, the Voyager, I've got my suitcase is a Renogy, and it's got the Voyager 20 amp controller, but that's pulse wave modulate.
It's
PWM.
We're gonna find out. Hold on.
So I know mine is, because it doesn't make noise. I don't have any trouble with that Renogy PWM controller with HF. So another one, the Bioenno works good for me. So Mike says that. So might have to check that one out. Yeah, see if the Bioenno.
So the Voyager is pulse wave modulation. So I was wrong. Yeah. I was wrong.
Does that mean you got to take a drink?
No, I was wrong. So it's okay.
Yeah, Bruce, thanks. If I ever try it, I'll let you know how it works. So yeah, let us know if you get the noise canceller, if that does anything, because I'm curious. So all right, anybody? Let's see. Anybody questions here? Got a couple tuner ones or comments, and yeah, Scout 75. We say things get different north of Highway 8, even get stranger north of Highway 2.
That's true.
I can tell you that.
We've had some rough nights in Ashland, or north of Ashland.
No, you're thinking when we were up in Red Cliff.
Or either that, or the really cold night on Madeline Island.
That was
the last
bad
time
too.
I had the tent out. Tent's probably still a little frozen and wet from that night.
That's when it didn't stop raining.
Right. We had to get up. We had to evacuate the island.
Yeah. Yeah, because the gale was coming in.
Right. No, that was a bad night.
Yeah, we would have been stuck. Yeah, we would have been stuck there for days because they were going to shut the ferry down.
Because I would have felt
it. Oh, Sam wants to know how to use a HF mobile antenna on a fiberglass body. Oh, I want to use this mobile. Maybe something underneath the frame.
Right. So it's, you got to have some sort of. It should be bonded to your frame of the car.
Yeah.
So if you have a towing hitch, that'd work. Usually your hood and your trunk are usually metal. I don't know which car you have, so I don't know how much is fiberglass. Like I used to have a Saturn. Saturns are plastic on the sides, but the roof and the roof, but the trunk and the hood are always metal. Mm-hmm. So you could do like a lip mount, antenna mount, and then make sure that's bonded to something of the frame, either
something substantial on the frame. Body. Yeah, right. Yeah, because you want some continuity there. So
exactly.
Yeah. So XPFTP says auto tuner or a manual tuner. Excellent question. Well, last week I released a video on how to use a manual tuner and gave some reasons why you would want to use a manual tuner. And tomorrow we got a new video coming out, and that is on automatic antenna tuners. So watch for that to drop tomorrow, Friday, April 2nd at about 3:00 p.m. Central Time. And that might help you out in your decision. So hopefully that.
Yeah. So I mean, the gold standard for automatic antenna tuners are either LDG or SGC. LDG is more ham related. SGC is actually a little bit more of a commercial model. I actually have one that's on loan right now. I have a Maritime Mobile version of a SGC antenna tuner, which can take 300 watts sideband tuning with the only connections it needs is coax and power.
There you go.
Their tuners are just the cat's meow. If you can get one, grab one. LDG, the nice thing about LDG is that they make them specifically for just about every radio. Yeah. With, plug and play, especially if you have a Yaesu or ICOM. All you got to do is get their specific tuner, get their cable, and you just hit the tune button on your radio. It's really simple. So either one of those I highly recommend. But if you're a portable operating guy, the manual tuner is the way to go. It's lightweight, no power requirements. You can tune a wet noodle with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, this is in my go bag right here. This little MFJ 901B. It's simple. It's like I said, it's an inductor and two capacitors. All it is, but it will tune a wet noodle. So
those are good. Yep. And I got the 945C travel tuner. I've upgraded to I'm using the LDG Z11 Pro 2 Auto when I need to use one. Otherwise, it's the dipole's mostly resonant and the Wolf River coil's mostly resonant. So I usually pull it out if I'm using a non-resonant antenna like the Chameleon or something of that nature, or the off-center fed dipole. When I got that up, then it's tuner time. But
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're getting close to the end here, so I just got a couple of quick notes. The wife dropped me a note, and she's wanted to remind me to tell everybody that Saturday we're going to take a road trip, and since it's going to be such a beautiful day in the 60s, we're going to head down. It was Wile's choice, and she decided that we needed to go to a state park and do some hiking and get a Parks on the Air activation going. So this is her, not me.
She's going to hike. You're going to do the Parks on the Air.
Well, no, she says we're going to go to Natural Bridge State Park. That's over by west of the Dells, Wisconsin Dells, and so she said, "Yeah, we gotta take the hike to see the Natural Bridge, and then I'll hike more, and you can do your park thing, or we can both do the park thing, or we can do whatever." So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
if anyone logs a contact with Christine, it's worth 500 points.
So listen for us on the air.
I talked to her once on the radio. She wasn't very happy with me, but she talked to me.
So listen for us on the air there Saturday, probably late morning, that late morning, early afternoon hours, depending on when we get rolling. But I'll be on I'll spot pota.us. So it's love to have you. And speaking of which, we did keep sending those cards and letters. If you talk to me on the air, it's let's see if I can. I'll embiggen this because I know it's embiggening me. It's I return QSL, so we got some nice ones. This is a nice one of the Lake Superior shoreline. Can't wait to get up there in a few weeks. Another nice one, Wile E. Coyote. And these are just that all came in the last few weeks. So W3GRL. I remember talking to her last November. Great card. I love that card. And finally, beautiful fire engine from W9TMK. So keep it rolling. Talk to me on the air. Send me a QSL card. I return QSL. I'll even pay the postage. So it's that's just the way I am. But
he writes it off as a business expense. Don't worry.
Marketing.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. It's we're getting close to the end here. So yeah, and Roy says, I'll be listening for you. So good deal. Okay, do we have any last words, Joe?
Not really. Hi to my wife and kids in Hawaii. I'm still here stuck in Wisconsin. I haven't died yet. The dogs are okay. Hope you come home soon.
Yeah, and the IL says from your paycheck, right, Joe?
Right.
Right.
One paycheck. My wife takes it. Like I said, she's in Hawaii.
And you're there, and you're in your basement.
Yeah, taking care of the dogs. Which I can hear barking upstairs right now.
All right, so our next one will be on the that first Thursday in May. So hope to hear you. I think I was going to say that sounds about right. Yep, Thursday, May 6th, 7:00 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel, and right
here in the Bat Cave.
Bat Cave, yeah.
I think I have a Motorola up here someplace.
You know what? Maybe it'll be warm enough. We're both vaccinated now. We can maybe do it outside.
I will have my second dose by then, so
I will too. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll come down to your shack. Who knows?
Ooh.
Things could get a little crazy. I have to stop with a beer.
I'd rather do it outdoors.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you're a little gamey. No one knows that.
I don't know about that, but all right. So thanks everybody for joining us. It's really appreciated. Had a lot of great questions. This hour always goes so fast, and
it does. Yes.
Yeah. So we will sign off for another month, and hope to see you again in a few more weeks. So just finishing up, I am Michael, KB9VBR.
And I'm Joe, KD9CJX.
Have a good evening in 73.
Yep, 73.